Hello guys, Packin here. I'm here with another update of lightsaber, which on my last video with my Graphics over here, I made two purchases on the LGT Store. I just want to go a little overview and the functionality of the RGB saber line for the 7/8. You could find these similar hilts in many of the international stores, but also you find it everywhere. Somewhere in Etsy, they're selling them. I know Saberforge is selling the Youngling line as Neophyte, and the Potch store that sells the Kyojin. And this is the same kind of slender model. Again, this is from LGT Store that I got with my Graphics. I think this one, I believe this is about like $50 to $60 between. This is like a budget saber, and what I really like about it is that the button is very nice and sleek. It's not like a lighted up switch or something silver. This is like a plastic button that you can press onto it, and switch comes on. And the shipping, it will come in this tube. I guess to cut costs and shipping, but I was surprised. You would think that coming in a tube would create all sorts of disasters, cardboard bending or snapping, but it all come in one piece, that nothing gets damaged during transit, which is a good thing. All right, so this is all taped up. The seller made precautions to make sure it comes to me in one piece. It comes all in a bubble wrap. So they use this bubble wrap, and they wrap this whole saber. I mean, talk about protection. They just use a whole bunch of bubble wrap to wrap this whole thing so that you would have a nice security on the transit, so it doesn't break or damage on you. On the cardboard, so that's a plus, I guess. And it comes with the instruction manual, a user guide, turn on the saber, long press 3 seconds. Some of us is just self-explanatory. 2 to 4 hour charge. It has a 3.7 volt lithium-ion battery. So it comes with the instruction manuals on the operations, but I will tell you the operations anyway. Because I was able to, play around with it for about a few days. So anyways, it comes with instructions, and it comes with a USB charger. You have one end charging this specific port. I believe it's 2.1 millimeters. And it connects all the way with the USB. So the USB you can actually charge with a Samsung adapter or any cell phone adapter. It will just charge just fine, because when you charge it, you notice that there's a LED on the inside. It would show that it's red, and when it's done, and it will show blue or no color at all, and that means your saber is done. I use a Samsung charger. I put it down on my outlet. See over there. And I'm going to take the 2.1 millimeter and stick it into the recharge port so you can see what it looks like. There. You got to push it all the way down. Okay, so as you push it down, you see that it's red. You see a red LED on the inside, just a little bit of hint of red LED that's shining inside the hilt to know that it's charging. So this is a pretty good feature to know that there's an indicator light in the hilt. Let's measure this blade. This blade is pretty short for my liking. From the overall length of when it is installed, this is about 38.5 inches in length, so it's a pretty short saber. And this This 7/8 blade comes with a heat shrink to provide protection on the tip, as the tips do not come threaded. So I believe it's secured with a glue, and they want to add a little more protection. But every time you put something on like this, you'll see why. Anyways, we have mute mode, but let me tell you the function. You turn that off. All right. So when it comes to these operations, it tells you in seconds, but when you press onto the switch and you hold it, you will hear consecutive pulses. So every time I say 1 and 2 seconds, that's the amount of pulses I feel within this hilt, because it has a motor that generates those 1 and 2 seconds. All right, so let's go to the menu for the saber. You just have to hold it. Hear this noise. You gotta press it again. These are all pre-programmed sound fonts. These are just weird musics, but let me turn it on. One, 2, 3. So again, you gotta hold it three times, 3 seconds, just for the saber to turn off. So it's not instant. It's not like a 1 button press and turn off. It's actually 3 seconds to turn off, which is a downside in my opinion. But it's still, it's a really nice saber. Again, the functions come with sound, so that's a big plus. Again, it comes with 3 different sound fonts, so I'm going to toggle another one. Let's try that one. Notice the tip. That's when the shine, you can really see the difference where the shine just cuts off from the heat shrink. But that's okay, because if you want to take away the heat shrink, you will notice that the light would just push right through. But again, the reason why the light didn't go all the way is because the heat shrink is covering most of the light from passing around this area. But the point of the tip would still light up. All right, so another font. I call it the Matrix font. It just sounded so much like the Matrix. So this one doesn't have the ignition sound that I would like, but again, these are it does come with sound. So the speaker would like this with a mesh, and when you look inside, you will notice that there is O-rings to protect or secure the speaker from rattling. So these O-rings do help also to neutralize the vibrations on the inside. And the board is about that small. It's pretty small. The board is just lodged in there, very thin across the hilt. So the speaker, so the caliper. Let's go with millimeters. This thing is about 22, yeah, 23 millimeters. 23mm speaker. Cool. Alright, so it's a 23mm speaker. Basically, it doesn't hold anywhere except the outside. So the only way to secure that is you put it in place, you screw the cap back on, and there you have it. Nice and secure. Now, the light up, the RGB feature, which is really interesting. If I turn it on, let me turn that off. Okay, so I'm going to switch fonts. I like that vibrant hue one. Let me hold it. Okay, so I have this basic font, which I like because it's not like it has artifacts or anything. Just a straight up hum. Now, to change color, you have to hold it for 2 seconds. So, 1, 2, then hold again, and the color changes. To red, to yellow, to white, purple. So if I want to use purple, I would just let it go, and every time you press this button for flash, it's white. So no matter what color that you choose, you're gonna get a white flash on clash. And if you turn it off, 1, 2, 3, it changes its normal color to blue, and then it turns off. What I really like about this RGB is that I don't think it's as bright, but the plus side is that every time you change to any color, which is red, yellow, green, blue, purple, whatever color that you like, you're gonna have white flash on clash. And anything with white flash on clash without having something like gimmicky, like every time you change a color that's red, you have like green that's put on a tri-crete or LED. This is wired with white flash on clash, and that is a plus in my book. All right, so let me open this up so you can see what the LED looks like. Basically unscrew the 2 screws. All right, just take it out, and these blades that the LGT offers comes with a film. You can see on the inside is glued in, but it does come with a cellophane film to push light across the tube. So it's good that they actually come with that, because I've seen blades that don't come with it, which was a bit disappointing, those that do that. But this is a really big plus for me, that it comes with a diffusion film. Okay, so the inside, you get this nice big LED, and yeah, you don't have a housing to protect it, but I guess it does the job. Let me see if I can see it clearer. Yeah, it's really hard to see, but yeah, you notice that there's 3 different LED pads going on. So this is tri-crete RGB, but you also have white flash and clash on this. So pretty cool, pretty cool. So I'm just gonna put this back. Okay, So again, I am not endorsed by LGT Store. I'm just a customer that purchased this the product as well as this RGB style Youngling 7/8 hilt. So far, it's not bad. 2, 3. The downside is the inconvenience having to wait 3 seconds to turn it off. Because sometimes after 3 seconds, the font doesn't always register as you turn it off. And for the mute mode, it's very tricky because when you toggle all the 3 different sound fonts, you have to go through the little matrix sound, the matrix kind of sound font, and there's the same matrix sound font that you had to press and then hold so that you get the mute mode. Now, I'll tell you what I mean. So if I hold it, see, it doesn't turn off after 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. All right, so now hold. 1 button, and you hold it. There you go. So when you hear that sequence, you press once. As long as the font doesn't change and it's still in that same sequence, and you hold that after you press that once, you get the mute. So if I press this, look at that, you have mute. And you can still have the same function of changing color if you go in array. If you just have to hold 2 seconds, 1, 2, and you press once, and there you go. It just changes colors on the fly. It just rotates in a more, it cycles through different colors by a motion of colors. It's not like you go up and down for spectrum. This is not like a spectrum. This one just toggles through different colors in a nice slow fashion. So if there's a color that you like, you simply just take your finger off. Let's say I like to do yellow. I release my finger, and there you go. I have yellow. And then I always have white, flash on clash. There you go. So it's white, flash on clash. So that's the mute mode. So if I want to 1, 2, 3 to turn it off, see how it turns red? Pretty cool, right? I have to go back to the font. I like that one. I will select that, and then I get my sound. So I think that LGT is going to change to a new board. I am not sure, but it takes me about a good a day or two just to figure out the mute mode, because the mute mode was not shown or was explained. I had to toggle through each of the fonts and realize that one of the font is the same font, but it's very tricky because when you switch and toggle fonts, that matrix mode that you hear, the matrix font or whatever it is, you press once. As long as it doesn't change that font, you hold that. So after you press that first initial, it doesn't change font, good, you hold that, and then you get mute. So that's the only way you can actually get mute mode. If for those who get the RGB and understand the frustrations of trying to go to a club or something, and you want to show off your saber, or you want to practice in the house and you don't want to wake anybody up and you want mute mode, that's the only way to do it for an RGB. So anyways, that is pretty much it. This is the only 2 products I've ordered from LGT Store. 89 Sabers graphics, along with their Youngling standard kind of RGB line. I'm not really sure, but I'm sure that they're changing to a new board. I'm not sure if they still carry them. They carry other products, the Chinese-made international products. Me personally, if I were to wield this saber, if I go on a, if I were to fight this in a TSL, I don't recommend this blade at all because this blade is thin-walled. Even though that is taped up like TSL regulations that you always have to require a heat shrink on your rounded tips. But keep in mind that this is a thin wall blade. This thing will break on you, and this is not a thick wall blade like a 1 inch. So 1 inch are pretty much standard for the Saber Legion according to the rules. As for me, if I were to deal with this really hard, I would see myself having to hold the saber like this, because the weight, if you were to hold it with one hand, right, the weight distribution pushes all the way down. It just slips down for me to carry that weight in that one hand, and it becomes really uncomfortable to hold. Even though you have a grip section that's comfortable, but the weight pushing down, you make yourself want to grip this side, because the weight you can control by holding it this. But keep in mind, like if you're in an intense duel, your hand would slip and your hand would get cut off. You know, if it was a real lightsaber and this is the thin lightsaber, right, and you just slip right off. You have no security because it's all smooth. So this is my preferred method. I would hold it like this, and then I would do a lot of movements or tricks or katas or whatever you want to do, because you have a lot of control over this weighted area because you're compensating for the weight of the polycarbonate tube of the 7/8. Okay, so I think that's a pretty much of a mouthful. I hope you find this informative. The RGB feature is pretty nice, pretty sweet. I've seen other stores online, Potch Store, Saberforge, Etsy stores that carry them. Different vendors that carries this in Amazon that carries with non-RGB. You choose one of the colors. This is an RGB feature, and I like it. And what I also like is that sleek tactile button, which is black, which mixes with the other black finish. And this black finish is sandblasted anodized. This is not powder coated. This is anodized black on Media Blast. And Media Blast is very shiny and it's very smooth and very sleek. I might add some O-rings just so I can have some kind of grip. But anyways, I hope you guys find this informative. Again, this is me taking a chance of ordering from an international store, and sometimes you would be very surprised that my results are pretty good for now, because I took a chance. And I hope you find this video very informative and allowing you to understand what I ordered from overseas online, and that you can figure out for yourself if you want to order from them or not, and that you would see my other lightsaber videos. All right, this is Packin, signing off. Peace.